Okay, yeah. Hello, my name is Addae. I'm in the ISM program here at Lone Star High School, and I'm studying general practice. All right, just to go ahead and give y'all a little, startup about what I'm here for. Just want to give you guys a little background on why I'm in the program and what ISM is. So, why exactly am I here? Well, from my small town beginnings from Killeen, Texas, down in central Texas, in the hill country, and my strong beliefs, I have always thought of pursuing a career that has involved the idea of helping others, because it's always appealed to me ever since I was a young child. So, why exactly? Well, as you know, everyone knows there's a reward in helping others, and that's what I wanted to go ahead and see, if helping others in this exact way through general practice would be correct for me. And my mission statement concerning this is I will educate myself about the world of general practice in order to aid those suffering from acute and chronic illnesses in the future. Like your future, not like. So why ISM? Well, learning never exhausts the mind, as Leonardo da Vinci once said. And I had learned about the program actually through my English teacher at the time, Miss Grandel, who runs the program here. And I joined to expand my knowledge and ideas concerning the general practice field, because as you know, I wanted to do it ever since I was a young kid. And you know, everyone loves a challenge, come on, I hope. So, what exactly am I learning? Initially in the program, I did not know what I was doing, honestly. I just walked in the first day and I was like, hey, what am I doing? So, what was your general physician of the century to do? Well, in the beginning of the program, we were tasked with researching about our field, also going ahead and connecting with other people who knew about the field in the area. So, through research assessments, things that we did over the year, we researched about our field and we wrote about it, and I learned quite a few things through the. So, some of my research assessments would go over physician burnout, one of the biggest things affecting general physicians of today, because now general physicians are tasked with doing things that they've never had to do in the beginning of their career. So, as opposed to being called to your house to go ahead and help you with an illness or something that happened, now we're sitting at our clinics, filing paperwork, going ahead and doing stuff with insurance companies, having to answer phone calls. It's like more of a data clerk job than it used to be. And it affects a great deal of physicians. And a lot of things happen to these physicians. Some people end up quitting. Some people end up closing their practices. Some people end up doing drugs. Some people even kill themselves, honestly, through what's going on here. So another thing I learned through my research assessments were that there's a big shortage recently in physicians. We do not have enough as we used to. We haven't reached our potential. All through, hearing about burnout, which discourages quite a few people, and specializations. A lot of people are really told to specialize when you can really just go ahead and stay in the general physician area, and they end up going ahead and not finishing. And also there's just a lack of interest due to specializations. So another thing I learned about was doctor to doctor, and patient to patient, and patient to doctor communication, which is one big issue affecting the world of general practitioners, because people aren't really connected with their doctors as much due to the fact that the job has evolved to what I covered earlier. It's more of a data clerk job than anything. So, through the ISM program, we had to go ahead and interview people in the area who were acquainted or actually did the job that we wanted to do. So, I went ahead and found a couple people, and one of them ended up being my mentor, who I'll cover later. And I learned quite a few things from them, like with Dr. Brenda Osborne. I went and visited her back around September, and I learned about traditional naturopathy, a really subset of general practice where you go ahead and focus more on herbal and traditional practices to achieve wellness. And it just gave me some ideas about what I can do in the future. And she inspired me to implement that in my practice maybe in the future, because there aren't really a lot of naturopaths out there. I could probably end up doing it. Also learned from Dr. Kofi Juma. He's a general practitioner up in Oklahoma. He had been visiting down here for the time being, and I managed to go ahead and get an interview with him. And one thing that he liked about general practice was that he got to aid the elderly, and as I said, there's a reward in helping others. He also said that he loves to focus on practicing for the people, something that you should always keep in mind to avoid burnout, and not for the monetary gain that comes with it. And he also told me that med school is really hard, and you gotta apply yourself, because they always try to go ahead and weed out the quitters from those who go ahead and keep going on. And my last interview, and the one that gave me the mentor that I have today, was with Dr. Stephanie L. Kuljo, MD. She's also a general practitioner in the area down on Legacy. And she joined to go ahead and fulfill her desire to go ahead and take care of the young and the elderly. And she really just wanted to get a general look at medicine rather than go ahead and become specialized. And she really just emphasized to me that to deal with burnout, you have to go out and focus on yourself along with focusing patients. And remember that this job is just bigger than you. You're even blessed to go ahead and continue to do that. And always just remember, you're human. You can't really do everything at this point. So, about the world of general practice, we come to our original work in ISM, where we have to go ahead and create a product, a prototype, or something to go ahead and use what we've learned and to, how should I say, show something that could help us in the future or the practice or whatever we're doing. And really, my thing is Wellness 2K15, a little name for what I'm doing, where I'm creating brochures and putting in little tips and trying to go ahead and create a bigger, how should I say, bigger bond between the patient and doctor. And my mentor, Dr. Kujo's words spoke to me in order for me to get here. So what it is a kind of a campaign, not really, that focuses on encouraging patient wellness outside of the clinic, as well as strengthening patient to doctor bonds through daily tips and such as going ahead and giving everyone monthly an idea of what they can do to go ahead and improve their own wellness for themselves. And why do they need it? Well, people treat their doctors as a fixed me. We've all been there. We all feel a little guilty about how we treat our doctors. And really, it's just trying to go ahead and emphasize on the fact that you can go ahead and help yourself. You don't always have to see a doctor. So how will it be accomplished? Well, by the use of pamphlets, where I go ahead and make a month-to-month kind of coverage of what you can do to help yourself and opportunities to increase your wellness and add to your lifestyle. And how would be in a quarterly format, corresponding with each few months with their certain themes. So for January, I'd go ahead, since that's Mental Wellness Month, I go ahead and make tips and really things that you can read about improving your own mental wellness, such as writing a journal, which goes ahead and helps you get rid of, thoughts that you've had during the day and helps you sleep better, or maybe even exercising a little bit to go ahead and give you something to lessen your stress in your life. And from there, well, let's go back to mentorship, something that we had to do back in ISM. So in the office, well, my first visit was very interesting. It was quite startling to see what a doctor has to do day by day by day. Like, honestly, I had my mentor, Dr. Kujo. She'd be here, she'd be there, she'd be everywhere. She'd have to go ahead and diagnose a patient, from there go back to her office. I had to type up some stuff and go back out there. So it was more of a tasking job. You always were on your feet. What I learned was that people are different, but yet the same. I met quite a few folks. Like, there's this one man who said he had white coat syndrome. He was afraid of his doctor. So getting Dr. Cujo to meet him was a very scary thing. Sometimes he'd miss his appointments. Sometimes he'd just skip on purpose because he was just really afraid. But he also, though afraid of his doctor, he was always going ahead and diagnosing himself, and sometimes the diagnosis wouldn't be right. I learned a lot of other things, like through observing how to diagnose a patient. Well, doctors do that by going through their old history, actually, from other doctors in the area. And covering through that, they go ahead and give ideas from what they know already to what this new illness, syndrome, whatever could be. Like, there's this one man who had boxcar edema, which is this really nasty growth on your foot, makes your toes look all big and ugly. So the reason why was kind of because of his diabetes, which we didn't know. He kept getting this often and often and often. And diagnosing these case studies was quite fun with my mentor. And well, back to the product. So, for our original work, we had to go ahead and set everything up over time. And how I set it up was, my setup was brochures, which were made in a quarterly format. So I'd have 3 per year, actually 4 per year, covering 3 months at a time, filled with relevant tips to getting to wellness, having statistics in there that went ahead and maybe gives people who aren't really familiar with health, unlike, you know, here in Frisco, maybe someone from, I don't know, in the middle of Podunk nowhere who's not really familiar with mental health or anything like that, gives them statistics to go ahead and base everything off. And I write it on a personal level to go ahead and connect you more to, you know, your doctor a little bit, instead of going ahead and writing it at the factual level, which will probably throw you off. My process was quite simple. It involved a lot of observation, which I picked a lot of things from what I saw with my mentor to add to my product, which went with my tips, pulled some ideas from West Virginia University, which is a great credible source. I was able to go ahead and look at what they had, and I actually got the idea of going ahead and buy monthly themes from them. I got some research from the CDC and medical journals, which I got through my mentor, and pamphlets from the office itself. Those actually helped quite a lot. They gave me more of a idea of what to do. And uses and effects, what would they do for you in the future? Well, some people take the general physician field taken for granted, as I mentioned earlier. Some people just come to the office and say, hey man, just fix me up. When rather you should be fixing yourself up too, and gives tips on living well outside of the clinic. And will also encourage stronger bonds with your physician, and it's a tried and true way to wellness. It'll help you help yourself. So, through ISM, what I've learned is quite a few things. Number one, the value of time as a very important thing in ISM, and really in the world, because, you know, as they say, time is money. I learned a little thing also is that we're all the same yet unique. I've met too many people in that office and realized how much we're all the same in how we handle things, but at the same time different, like how we're diagnosed and our backgrounds and what we do. And really, I've gotten a taste of the general physician experience. One thing I loved was going ahead and going to the office every day and meeting new people. Like, you get to do that for a living. What a blessing that is. And really learn to be humble too. Because if you're not humble when you're a general physician, you will burn out easily. You'll expect things that you shouldn't expect. You'll end up going ahead and hurting yourself if you're not humble in that practice. I've learned quite a lot, my friends, quite a lot. So down the road, due to ideas from my mentor, she told me that you should study business. That is one thing that you should study, especially when you're opening a practice. Because if you don't know business, you ruin yourself. You'll end up having to sell your practice and you end up being nothing. And I really plan to study biology along with that, so it helps me out through medical school, as I was told by Dr. Juma and also a couple other people I interviewed during the process. And really, I've decided to become a general physician. I think it's what's best for me, what I feel like would be the best thing for me in the future. And become a father of 3 because, you know, just want y'all to learn about me. So I'd like to thank my mentor, Dr. Stephanie Cujo. She was the best help in Miss Texas 2008 because, you know, she's real cool, y'all. And I'd like to thank you all, America. Have a great night. Any questions, just ask me. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. So, yeah, go ahead, ask a question.